You know what's on my mind? Cheating in the upcoming Philippine elections. Here on my daily thought bubble. So, since 2019, I've already doubted the veracity and integrity of the Philippine elections. In 2019, I don't know if you guys recall, at 6 p.m., Smartmatic machines suddenly went offline with only 5% of the total votes counted. And then suddenly, if I remember correctly, it was 1 a.m. when it suddenly went back online with 90 plus percent of all the votes counted. And the top nine senators never moved, never went up or down, never changed places. And that led me to a lot of uncertainty and suspicion. Because if you think about it, Smartmatic has been paid billions of pesos to be able to ensure the integrity of the Philippine elections. And yet, on the very day that they're supposed to be online for the entire time, the most important day, the counting of the votes, is when they go offline. Can you imagine that? In every single situation, they're fine except on the most important day of the elections, the counting of the votes. So that was already questionable for me. And then, fast forward to where we are today. Let's go through all the reasons why I believe that there's a massive possibility of cheating that's going to happen in the Philippine elections. Number one, the Comelec. The Comelec is composed of 7 commissioners. Out of the 7 commissioners, 4 are from Davao, one is a fraternity brother of Duterte, and the other one, recently appointed, was the lawyer of BBM during the 2016 electoral protest. And the chairman has no experience when it comes to election advocacy. So, putting all of these things together, it makes me question the integrity of the elections as it is today. Number two, Rappler has signed an MOA with the Comelec so that they can do fact checking to ensure the integrity of the elections. And one day after Marcos's lawyer was appointed into the Comelec suddenly put to a halt that memorandum of agreement pending the Supreme Court's decision on this matter. Which was interesting how they changed their position from saying they're going to defend the MOA that Rappler should be able to do fact checking to suddenly saying that no, they're just going to now pause or halt that agreement pending the Supreme Court decision. Now, what we're hoping to happen is that the Supreme Court will decide on this before the elections. I don't know. I'm not too hopeful, to be honest with you. Knowing how justice is so slow here in the Philippines, I'm not sure. I hope they do, but let's see. And I don't even know if they're going to judge in favor of Comelec or in favor of the government under the office of the Solicitor General Calida. Because it was Calida who pressured the Comelec to junk the agreement they have with Rappler for fact checking. And he was also the one who filed a case with the Supreme Court citing that it will infringe on freedom of speech and freedom of expression if Rappler was doing fact checking on the Comelec. What the heck? How is it that an independent body is going to do a fact checking of Comelec, a government body, and now you're going to say that it infringes on the freedom of expression and freedom of speech? Oh, come on. The problem is that we do need an outside body fact checking our government. And the government is saying that that infringes on our freedom of speech and expression. It is interesting to me that Kalida is using that line of reasoning to be able to not allow a third party to check the facts and make sure that everything is accurate. And lastly, and this is the most important, the logistics of the elections has been awarded to the crony of Duterte, Dennis Uy, through his company F2 Logistics. And I want you to imagine this, all election ballot boxes, all election machines, all voter lists are going to go through his logistics. They're going to be delivering to and from each precinct to the central office to whichever. Everything handled by the crony of Duterte. And to add to that, remember that all the surveys that are being done right now are kind of questionable in my opinion. That they would say that 50% of all Filipinos are going to vote for BBM, yet if you look at social media, majority is supporting Lenny. And yet if you look at the actual turnout for the rallies, Lenny has an overwhelming support. And yet the surveys say that 1 out of every 2 Filipinos are going to vote for BBM. So you have Lenny dominating the social media and on ground, and yet BBM is leading the surveys? Wow, that's just so unbelievable on every level. And to me, surveys have always been used as a tool for mind control and mind conditioning so that people will be able to accept whatever the results may be. And in this case, the mind conditioning is being created for BBM to win and for people to jump on that bandwagon, and so that if there is cheating that happens with the Comelec, due to the fact that the Comelec commissioners are primarily all from Davao and there's a Marcos lawyer on the commission, and they wanted to take out the fact checking by Rappler, and the fact that the logistics is handled by Dennis Uy, when that cheating happens, Filipinos are going to just accept it because of the mind conditioning telling them that yes, BBM was leading by 50%, 1 in every 2 Filipinos. But then when I talk to Filipinos, and I try to talk to as many random Filipinos as I can, I don't see 1 in every 2 people I talk to supporting BBM. I don't even know how we're going to be able to vote knowing that the elections have already been compromised, that everything has been in place so that cheating can possibly happen. And I really hope that the commissioners will do their job honestly, but it leaves a lot to be desired. And I don't know what the candidates should do. And I hope the candidates are going to try to at least come up with ways to be able to check the integrity of the elections. Because if there is any fraud, it has to be brought out. But at this point, with all of those things that I presented to you right now, how can you expect the Philippine elections to be done honestly with integrity? And how can we ever accept the results knowing that there are so many ways that the government has already compromised its integrity? If Marcos wins legitimately, then fine. But the way they're doing it right now shows me that there's a possibility of massive cheating that's going to happen. And everything that the government is doing right now is questionable and is hurting the integrity of our elections. And by doing so, it'll make it harder for everyone to accept whatever the results may be. And at the end of the day, I really hope I'm wrong and that there is no massive cheating and that the true will of the people will be heard. This is Christian, and that's my daily thought bubble.